Perfect. Before introducing the agenda and what I plan to do this day, by the way, remotely, let's introduce myself, and Philippe Thomas is doing this as well. So my name is Laurent Vincent. I'm solution architect in IBM for a while now, working on different technology, such as blockchain or AI solution, and as well focusing on Cloud Pak for integration and integration solution. That's why I'm here today, to give you an overview about what we call Cloud Pak for integration, what is behind this word, this name, and as well this afternoon talk to focus on one of the components, which is IBM Event Streams. Behind him, this is Kafka. I'm sure you know what this. I have several skills in different industries, and one of them is for retail. That's why I will use several examples or use cases to illustrate my presentation, which come from retail industry. That's for my presentation. So let's share my screen first. That would be easier if you. That's me with a picture. And I forgot to tell you, this year I come from south of France. It's sunny currently. That's quite pleasant. And you can imagine that currently, regarding the situation and the pandemic, the beach is not crowded like you can see on the picture. That's just a comment. So maybe Philippe, if you want to introduce yourself.
So Philippe Thomas, cloud architect, also based in Nice with Laurent, and we are working together in the same team in the European technical team advocacy group, and my specialties are around the cloud and more especially the containers these days. So anything concerning Docker, Kubernetes, and OpenShift. So because you will see that during this meeting today, the Cloud Paks in general are based on OpenShift, are running on top of OpenShift. So it's important to have also some knowledge on that. So I think Laurent is going to go through the installation process and is going to give you some advice how to install it. And so I will be there as a backup to monitor your questions and to help Laurent during this if any specific question in cloud arise. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Philippe. So, and before continuing, and just to tell you, so I'm using, and this is the first time, the transcription at the bottom. I would say this is a transcription speech to text from PowerPoint. And that could be helpful if you don't maybe understand me clearly. He's doing quite well. He's doing a good job. More or less, I would say, regarding what different results. But it could be helpful for you if you maybe don't catch a specific word. But anyway, if you have any question, something you need to clarify, just you can interrupt me or pose the question to the chat, and we'll be happy, Philippe and I, to provide you an answer as soon as possible. First thing before talking about the agenda, that's to give you the URL to get access to the box. So this is where you will find all my presentation. So I will post this on the chat. All the last description I propose you to do during this day. And just to show you what will be, what is the box, just close this one. The box is something, it looks like this. Here you will find just order correctly the name. All my presentation related to the Cloud Pak for integration, and as well to Event Stream. And by the way, you get access to the API Connect presentation, but that's not the focus today, because this is one of the topics as well, or when I talk about Cloud Pak for integration. And the lab, this is, each description of lab is prefixed by the word lab. That's quite easy. That's one for Lab Connect, one for Cloud Pak for integration, and this one for Event Stream. It should be cleared off, I think so. So let's show you the agenda of this session. This is one day session. We start at around 9. We should finish around 4 p.m. this afternoon. So this morning, this is really a focus on Cloud Pak for integration. What the value of the Cloud Pak for integration, why IBM developed this kind of platform, and what you can expect to do with this platform and the different components of this platform. After this, I plan to show you, to give you more detail about the installation and some tips about the installation, where to find the right documentation to start working with Cloud Pak for integration, and as well a short demonstration. This is more or less an illustration of the different user interfaces you can use with Cloud Pak for integration. Before the lunch, I plan to do the first lab, which is 1 hour lab, where you will play with API and application integration with the data flow management. And for this, you will need to instantiate a specific environment. That's why before talking about the installation, I will show you a few words on this to prepare this environment to be ready for the lab. So let's do the lunch maybe around 12:30, 1 p.m. and then continue this afternoon with Event Stream. An overview about what is Event Stream in IBM, and after this technical presentation, this is a presentation of concept managed by Event Stream. The first lab, that's easy. This is I would say, short one. This is 40 minutes lab, where you will instantiate your first Event Stream solution or product or component, and you will create your first topics, the first queue or message stream management. When we talk about message capabilities, that's we must be aware about. We must be able to compare Event Stream or Kafka with MQ. MQ, this is quite old now product, but this is in terms of market share, it's used by all the biggest companies across the world. That's why we must be able to know what we must do with this and what the value to use MQ and Event Stream, or how to dissociate and differentiate the usage of Event Stream and MQ. We'll see if we'll have time to talk about use cases, but I plan before the end of the session to give you some tips to be able to run the last lab. That will be up to you to start the lab right now, or maybe do this later on if you want. So let's start with the first presentation, if you don't have any questions so far, and which is dedicated to Cloud Pak for integration. That's the one. And before talking about Cloud Pak for integration, this is why IBM is working on this kind of solution. And we'll take a few time just to introduce the other Cloud Pak for integration. So I will stop my video to improve the bandwidth. If I can, by the way, how to do this? Stop video. That's perfect. So the 5 key principles which define the IBM cloud strategy are, are like this. Sorry. It's back. Like this. The first one, this is hybrid. When we're saying hybrid, this is a mixed, when you want to leverage different kind of infrastructure, your own data center, for instance, or any public cloud. And this is usual now, and we must be able to manage efficiently this kind of infrastructure and have an holistic view about what is the situation of your solution. Even this solution is split in different environments. Maybe the data could stay at home in your data center, behind your firewall, and maybe the application or advanced application could be managed on the cloud. This is a usual architecture. We must be able to do this. That's why IBM focused on the capability to instantiate any IBM product on this kind of infrastructure. And that's the case for any Cloud Pak, by the way. When we talk about different environments, that means that you must be able as well to leverage different cloud providers or different public clouds. And that could be a public or private cloud in parallel. And for several reasons. Most of the time, if you want to negotiate with the potential cost or to identify who could be the right or the best provider, you must be able to leverage different cloud providers. That's one option. The second one, this is due to the regulation. And if we talk about banking corporation, for instance, there is a regulation which requires the banking corporation to have multiple cloud providers. This is just to avoid a single point of failure. Let's imagine that this provider is down for any reason. The banking corporation must be able to continue its activity and to propose the same services to its end users. And moreover, let's imagine that you have a lot of or most of the European global banking corporation using the same cloud provider. If this one is down for any reason, that could be a systemic issue. You cannot imagine that all the banking corporation won't be able to provide any services to the end user. That's why the regulation has to this kind of industry to have multiple cloud providers. And that's a situation, and we must be able as well to do this. And there's several interests to do this as well, and that's why IBM is working on this. If we talk about blockchain, because I'm a blockchain expert as well, so let's imagine a blockchain. This is a peer-to-peer network, and the peer-to-peer, this is, and the blockchain network, this is when several organizations work together and leveraging this technology. But each organization must have at least one peer or several peers to run what we call the different contract, to run the logic and store the data managed by the blockchain. Most of the provider of blockchain technology request to leverage their own solution and their own environment. Most of the time, this is on public cloud. With IBM, we can leverage our IBM blockchain platform, and we can instantiate our IBM blockchain platform anywhere. That means that you can adapt our solution to the different infrastructure of the different organization who wants to work together on the blockchain technology. And that's variable. That could be on premises or could be on any public cloud. That's as well an example and why we must be able to leverage different provider and hybrid solution. We're doing this, we leverage open source, but IBM is doing much more. IBM is involved as well in the development. Sorry, I forgot to enable the transcription. IBM is involved as well in the development of some of open sources. Let's talk about blockchain as one more time. Hyperledger Fabric, this is our foundation for what we call private blockchain. It's leveraged by different providers such as Alibaba, such as Microsoft, and some others. But IBM developed this and proposed this to the Linux Foundation. Now, the Linux Foundation is in charge of the development of this open source. But IBM has several teams dedicated to the development of this open source and is a premium member of the Linux Foundation. That's an example of what IBM is doing on the open standard. He's leveraging a lot of them, but as well he helps the development and contributes to the development of few of them. And for sure, we must be to do this in secure way, because when you think about hybrid multi-cloud, that means that you need to be able to secure the transaction or the integration between the different applications from the different infrastructure. And you must be able to do this in securely. And you will see that with IBM, that you have a lot of different solutions to secure this. And the management, this is how we can, in not a one point, but in single view, have a holistic understanding about what is the situation of your different environments. And as well, IBM developed what we call Cloud Pak for multi-cloud management to do this. In a single point, you can review the situation of the different clouds, public cloud, and as well what is running on premises, move some of them to regarding the potential cost of the usage of this or the different multi-cloud or different public clouds. And everything is done on containers. This is a modern way when we talk about development. This is managed on containers, managed by Kubernetes, and now this is by using Red Hat OpenShift. And why we're doing this? Because this is a lightweight packaging that you can instantiate this almost anywhere if you are able to manage correctly containers. But we're going deeper on this. We acquired last year Red Hat OpenShift, and all our products and our Cloud Pak now leverage Red Hat OpenShift. That's why by leveraging this platform to manage containers, we are able to instantiate our Cloud Pak or solution almost anywhere. That could be on IBM Cloud, which is our public cloud, or that can be on AWS, that can be on Microsoft, that can be on Google, or on your own private cloud or in your data center. That's a very flexible way to instantiate your different solution. Let's review the different Cloud Pak just to give you an idea about what you can find on the IBM portfolio and why use this Cloud Pak compared to another one. What I want you to do this is just to give you an idea about different use cases and why using this Cloud Pak. So let's start from the left to the right with Cloud Pak for application. Cloud Pak for application that's designed to enable developer and tester to build, deploy, and run application in a modern way. I mean microservice-based development. That's enable you to transform and modernize your application. There are several tools to help you to analyze your application and define what could be the right way to transform your monolithic application to a microservice application, or maybe a piece of your monolithic application to microservice application. And you will find all the tools to do this in Cloud Pak for application. And as well, this is built on top of Red Hat OpenShift and can be instantiated anywhere. The second one, this is, I would say, a huge one. This is Cloud Pak for data. That's designed to enable data scientists, data architect, data engineer, and business analysts to collect, organize, and analyze the data, and then accelerate the extraction of useful detail from this huge amount of data. And that could be used for machine learning, for deep learning, or just for predictive, and to analyze historical information as well and predict what could be the next result regarding the incoming data. This is very rich Cloud Pak, and on top of this Cloud Pak, you can instantiate several AI solution or application. I mean, artificial intelligence application, such as Watson Assistant. That's the solution to build your chatbot, or Watson Discovery to analyze unstructured data or extract data from documents. Could be a doc, could be a PDF, could be HTML, or maybe a web pages or any databases. And that's very rich, and that enables you to analyze this in an efficient way. That's yeah. And then Cloud Pak for integration, which is the subject of today. That's why I will skip this one to talk about Cloud Pak for automation. Cloud Pak for automation, this is designed to enable Chief Operating Officer and operation execs to transform business processes, decision, and content. You will find in this package or in this Cloud Pak all solutions you need to create your workshop, and like this, assign the right task to the right person, providing the right things to people. And that enables you as well to manage content, manage the life cycle of content, manage, I mean, if this is in draft, published, and so on, manage the versioning of content, and manage the security of content. In one package, you have everything you need to speed up and to improve the productivity of your employee. That's the objective of this Cloud Pak. Cloud Pak for multi-cloud management, this is to manage in an efficient way your infrastructure. That's designed to IT operation, to manage application across cloud with consistent visibility, governance, and automation across different multi-cloud environments. That enables you in a single point to have this information, and that's very, very valuable. By the way, if you want to get more insight about these different Cloud Paks, so just contact the reference. We can organize one-day session just to talk about the different Cloud Paks. And then there is Cloud Pak for security. That's to help you to secure every transaction, take your databases, analyze your databases, because there are several tools are needed in this Cloud Pak to secure almost anywhere in your different environments. Could be on public or on premises as well. And in parallel of this, is the display here, but this is more, it's not software in this case, this is more, it looks like appliance. This is IBM Cloud Pak system. This is hardware dedicated to the instantiation of Cloud Pak or tune to manage Cloud Pak. And one of them, this is Cloud Pak for Cloud Pak system for data. There is a dedicated environment for Cloud Pak for data, hardware for Cloud Pak for data, tune for Cloud Pak for data. That's what I wanted to share with you related to the Cloud Pak. And if you want to get more insight anyway, I invite you to go to our web pages. There are several description, demonstration, case study to get more insight about what the value of each of them. And that is a subset of the case study. If you talk about Cloud Pak for application, for instance, you can see that helps reduce the time to development of up to 85%. That's quite huge. For if we talk Cloud Pak for integration, this is we multiply by 3 the speed to integrate an application and reduce the cost by 3 as well, and so on and so forth. There are several of them. So feel free to go further and to get more insight by using our web pages. Just Google it, and you will find all details. Let's focus on Cloud Pak for integration. And one thing, this is to agree about the definition of what is integration. This is a short description, but you can enlarge this if we want. This is everything related to manage the connectivity between application or between systems. When we talk about connectivity, the capability to exchange data from a point A to a point B and secure this exchange and secure this exchange. We must find the right route for this, and as well at any time, for any reason, you might want to transfer the information. Let's imagine that the source provides the information in a specific schema, but the destination or the recipient must retrieve this information in different schema. That you can transform this to make this data consumable by the recipient. This is a quite short description, but with Cloud Pak for integration, you will see that we can do much more than just sending information from a point A to a point B, because we can manage with Cloud Pak for integration your data lifecycle. You can manage the exchanges, by the way, as well. But you can create the data flow. You can secure everything. You will see this in a few seconds. What is the trend currently when we talk about integration? And the current pandemic situation was an illustration about the value to be able to quickly and do an integration with existing systems. We in France or mainly in Europe, we started the commitment 3 months ago, but the decision was taken quickly. So in 2 days we had to close almost everything, and we had to close all shops, for instance. That means that if this different brand or retailer didn't provide a new way to consume the product, that could be a disaster in terms of revenue. And some of them, because they were able to quickly provide new user experiences by integrating existing systems, were able, for instance, to propose click and pack or click and collect. You can order online and then pick your parcel in the shop, or take your products in the shop. This is what we call this click and collect. And as well, some retailers propose the possibility to schedule a visit of the physical shop. Like this, that would be the possibility to limit the number of clients in the physical shop, and then follow, I would say, the distanciation, the social distanciation defined by the government. And they did it in weeks and not in months. They were able to do this in 2 weeks because they used, I would say, a modern way to do the integration and to leverage existing solutions. That's why this is now a requirement to be flexible and agile, to provide which is the right answer quickly and propose the right solution to the end user. Because after this event, we don't know what will be the future, and maybe we'll have to repeat this again due to the COVID-19. But another example of the integration I like to work with, this is Uber. Uber didn't invent anything, by the way. Uber, this is the solution to order a taxi driver. But they were able to leverage existing solutions, such as online payment, geolocation, and propose this on a mobile application. They focus on the creation of new user experiences, but by leveraging existing solution and doing a good integration between their mobile application and their backend system, and their existing and third-party providers. That as well, it was an example with Uber, but now this is a current trend. It doesn't make sense to reinvent the wheel. Sorry. The best way this is to be able to integrate in securely all valuable feature or data provided by third-party application. And that's the current situation. So we must be able to do this right now. And for this, we provide you Cloud Pak for integration. That's a single point to create and manage all your integration, and secure them, reuse existing assets, manage your API you want to expose or to monetize, and so on. So concretely, what we can do. First thing, this is around application integration. Integrate application with legacy system, for example, or maybe exchange data between different SaaS applications. That as well possible by leveraging different capabilities. And you can as well define a data flow between different applications. And that's a flexible way if you have to leverage different applications to transform your data to provide the right information to your end user. You will find all you need to manage your API. If you want to expose your API, or maybe that's the data from your backend, or that's maybe some feature of different application, or you want to expose to the public or outside your corporation or in your enterprise, then you can propose you a way to do this, to manage this API, to manage the lifecycle of the API, to manage different plan, how you want to monetize and socialize this API. And that's this API later on could be used by the different application developer to leverage your data or your application. As well, we can propose different possibility to manage the events and in parallel manage the messages, the events in real time, more or less. And that's this case, this is with IBM Event Streams. And that's the last one. This is to speed up the transfer of your data from a point A to a point B, because when we talk about integration, the information exchange is much more than data most of the time. That can be video, picture, sound, I would say heavy information. And if you're using the standard internet capability, that you can get a limitation. We propose you a way to speed up this exchange only by using a specific software. That's not by creating or maybe added some new hardware on your network or specific network. You don't have to implement a specific network to do this. And for this, we'll propose you with Cloud Pak for integration a list of components or list of capabilities. We will review each of them. So the first one will be related to API lifecycle. Second, application and data integration, enterprise messaging, events, high-speed transfer, and integration security. And you can do this anywhere. You can instantiate your Cloud Pak for integration on the public cloud, or on your premises if you want, and you can have a mixed or these different clouds. I mean, you can have some component on public cloud, some other component on your premises. I mean, behind your firewall if needed, for any reasons. That's quite usual. Let's talk about IBM Cloud Pak integration and the capabilities behind this. As you can read, this is bring together industry-leading integration capabilities to form the industry's most complete hybrid integration platform. For each component, you will review IBM is a leader. I mean, with Cloud Pak for integration, we have the best in terms of integration in one Cloud Pak. So let's review quickly the different components. I will give you more detail on each of them in a few minutes. When we talk about API lifecycle, this is with the component API Connect. When we talk about application data integration, this is with App Connect. For enterprise messaging, we use MQ. For events management, this is Event Streams. For high-speed transfer, this is Aspera. And for integration security, this is Data Power. I provide you as well some URL if you want to get more detail on each of the products. But anyway, you don't need this. You just Google this different name of the product and you can get access to what we call the knowledge center of each of them. Let's talk about IBM lifecycle or API lifecycle, or behind it, this is IBM API Connect. And this is a short description of the different components of API Connect that will be the opportunity for me to explain what the value of API Connect. API Connect, this is when you want to export your API, maybe your data from your backend system or the features, and enable a third party to consume this information from your backend system by creating, for instance, specific application, leveraging the API you expose or you want to socialize and monetize. The first thing, that's to secure the transaction, or would say the exchange between the application, which will be outside your company and your backend system. And for this, we're using what we call API Gateway. This is one of the components of API Connect. But behind this is Data Power. And Data Power, this is a component to secure your exchange. What's the value of API Gateway in this environment? This is, first of all, to be sure that when you send a request, you have the permission and the right to get access to the different resources. It controls as well the rate of API call. If you pass the threshold, then the API Gateway will return this a failure to your application, saying that you need to register to a better plan if you want to use longer these resources, for instance. And around this, after the related to this API Gateway, you will find the API Manager. This is a core of the solution. That's where you will manage the API. You will define the API. You will define the status. You will define the plan, how you want to monetize this. You will define the different products. A product, this is a container which embed different API together and assign a specific plan to use this product. And this product will be visible and published to the developer portal. The API Manager, as I say, this is the core of the component, and to develop the API, you can leverage as well. I would say what we call API Developer Toolkit. You can instantiate locally to do the development and then push this development to the API Manager. That's really for the developer, dedicated to developer. And in parallel of this, there is a runtime, that's for sure, but you have an analytics engine. This analytics engine has the role to get information from the API Gateway about the usage of the application. You can leverage, by the way, this information to at the end of period, maybe send in related invoice about the usage of this API to the customer. Or you can define, leverage the plan you assign to the product. Once the product is published, it will be displayed on the developer portal. And the developer portal, this is where you will find all the products. That's more or less a public cloud, and that's something can look like the public cloud of IBM, but that's up to you. And there are plenty of example company which expose this API by using API Connect. And that's a flex. You can design the developer portal. This is based on Drupal, for instance. And this information will be accessible to any consumer organization, and that's represented by Andre, application developer in this case. You can register and access to different products and leverage the different API of this product in its own application. That's for API Connect, and that's an example of user interfaces to design and manage a different lifecycle. We can organize one day session or several day session just for this, and maybe you should have another one in September just to talk about IBM API Connect. And as before, this is a leader on the market, and for each component, this is a microservice architecture. And the value of Cloud Pak for integration, this is to have a seamless or frictionless integration from the different components of Cloud Pak for integration. And that's an example between API Connect and App Connect in this case. That means that without any development, just by using 5 steps or 5 clicks, you will be able to leverage some API you define and you expose in API Connect. You will be able to leverage this API directly in App Connect and use this in the data flow defined in App Connect, for instance. And that's an example of frictionless integration, but you will see some of them in a few seconds. So now let's talk about IBM App Connect. You can leverage with App Connect a lot of pre-built connectors. That's a subset of them that for different kind of usages. That could be Salesforce, Box, Watson for AI solution, Workday, SAP, and so on. That enables you to easily, without doing any development, integrate and create a data flow to exchange data between these different components, between these different connectors. You can send information from Salesforce to SAP, then to Watson solution, and so on. And with this, with a minimum of efforts. And that's something that's an example with. This is a subset of the list of potential components you can see on the left of the screen. That's where you can define how you want to leverage each of them or piece of them. And this is the data flow. In this case, it is by using the designer of IBM App Connect. The designer, this is oriented for line of business leader. We don't need to have, I would say, a strong skill in the development. You just need to know what you want to do, what are the data you want to capture from an application, and you want to push to the others. And that's an illustration here. The data come from the left to the right. You capture some data from SAP, and then you define, I would say, a condition to maybe filter this information. And regarding the result of this condition, you will send information to Salesforce, and we're doing something else. Or you maybe send information to you can send a notification to the end user, maybe saying that there are some information missing, you need to provide more details, for instance. And that's the first option when we talk about the design of the data flow. In fact, with App Connect, there are 2 different solutions. The first one, this is a designer. As I told you, this is for line of business leader, not IT people. Can be IT, but not developers, I would say. There is another option called the toolkit. That's something you must install on your machine locally, and you can work offline or online to create your data flow. This is where you want to have a fine-grained detail, and you want to develop specific things in this case. You need to have the right skill to use this toolkit, because this is based on Eclipse, and this is very rich. I think you will see this during the first lab. And that's not easy if you are not aware on the usage of this toolkit to find the right information. But you have two options for line of business, for developer, and you leverage App Connect. And as well, you have a frictionless integration. That's an example between MQ and App Connect. Directly from MQ, you can leverage any data flow or any result you define in App Connect, and without development in this case. That's really the value, one of the value of Cloud Pak for integration. Let's continue with MQ. MQ, this is not a brand new solution. This is a 25 years old solution. And as I told you, most of our big companies use this solution. And the market share for this solution is quite huge. So 50 of the 50 biggest companies are using this one. 97% and 95% of global banking corporations are using MQ, which means that if you want to do an integration for a big company, you be sure that you will find an MQ somewhere. And you must be able to leverage the MQ solution to maybe do an integration with brand new technology or brand new application. And why it's the leader? Because this is what we call a transactional exchange. I mean, when a source sends an information, send data, you be sure that the data captured by the recipient will be the right one. MQ will manage the securitization of the transaction, the fact that the data sent is the data capture, and be sure that the data capture will be by the right recipient. And if not, for any reason, the recipient is down, maybe you will retry later on, or if there is any issue network, we'll retry later on to send this information to the recipient. And the recipient will send back an acknowledgement to the source. Like this, the source is aware about the situation of this transaction and is sure that the information will be sent to the recipient. That's why we're using this a lot for banking in global banking corporation. You can imagine that you want to do a transfer for millions of dollars. You must be sure that you send this to the right recipient, and you must be sure that will be received correctly without any modification. So MQ, this is the leader, and that's for a while now. And that's embedded in Cloud Pak for integration. And you will work with this during the lab, so you will create your first queue, and you will integrate this with IBM Event Streams to leverage MQ capabilities and leverage Event Stream capabilities in this case. When we talk about MQ as well, this is, but we will see this afternoon as well. I will give you more detail on this. Few words on Event Stream. Event Stream, this is a subject of this afternoon. IBM Event Stream, behind this is Kafka. We built IBM Event Stream on top of Kafka to provide you all the features required to easily manage your event backbone. So what is what is IBM Event Stream? First of all, this is a way to capture events from any kind of sources. The source can be a web page, or if somebody clicks somewhere on your web page, that could be an event, or maybe on your mobile application, or maybe if somebody click on the mobile application, that could be an event, or maybe the fact that you are close to or you enter to a shop, that could be an event captured by Event Stream. An event can be produced by any kind of Internet of Things or connected object, or that could be as well just an update on a database. The fact that you capture new data or you update data could be an event sent to IBM Event Stream. IBM Event Stream, this is as well, you can pour this information to any destination. This is a stream processing. You can transform this information regarding the units and the need of the consumer. And we store everything in IBM Event Stream. We can store, usually this is for 7 days, this is a default setting, but you can store this forever if you need. But take care that if you send a huge amount of data, you must define correctly the infrastructure behind Event Stream. And one of the value as well, this is the scalability, and you will see this afternoon, of Event Stream. You can automatically increase the number of topics you want to use regarding the number of requests you can get from the different sources, and maybe send as well to any destination. And you can send this to this notification to any application by this, or any databases. So IBM Event Stream was the first Kafka seller in 2015, for instance, for your information. And we are the leader in this kind of industry as well. That's unveiled in Cloud Pak for integration. That screenshot you will see during my presentation, during my demonstration. Let's talk about IBM Aspera. This is for the high-speed transfer. And what the value to use Aspera? That's not a hardware implementation. This is just a software. You don't need to create a specific network to use specific router or specific hardware to improve by more than 30% the efficiency of your transfer. This is just software. You can instantiate from the source and into the destination. And to give you an idea, during this period, during the confinement, I'm sure you know what is Netflix. This is a video provider, I would say, or movies provider. You can stream any video, and you want to do this straightforward. You don't expect to wait minutes to start working or watching, I would say, any video. Behind this is Aspera. Aspera is used by Netflix to do this transfer. And you have seen this is done immediately. There is no latency between when you click to start video and when you can start watching the video. And that's a leader on this domain. And the final one, this is IBM Data Power. That's everything you need to secure the transaction between your environment and outside your environment. And as well as you have seen with API Connect, that's a way to give you an access to the right resources regarding the permission and your rights, and as well to identify the threshold in terms of number of calls you can do for specific resources. That's the final component. And with this component, you can do almost anything you need to do an integration. But with Cloud Pak for integration, we provide you much more than this list of components. This is much more than a package. So let's first review the multi-cloud capabilities of Cloud Pak for integration. This is a flexible way to do the instantiation that can be instantiated almost anywhere. When you want to work with Cloud Pak for integration, doesn't mean that you have to instantiate all components. If you are just interested by two of them, let's imagine you want to instantiate API Connect and App Connect, you can do this. If you want to work with MQ and Event Stream, you can do this as well. That's up to you. And what thing it could be interesting, this is you can have some entertainment. You can start working with some component and at the end decide on that's not the right one. You don't need to pay more. You just need to maybe remove the one which doesn't make sense for you and add another one and a new one. And we don't need to pay for this more if you can get some entitlement to use different components of your Cloud Pak for integration. And that's where there are some entitlement for Red Hat OpenShift. You don't pay the license for Red Hat OpenShift twice. What I plan to do, that's what I want to do this during the installation. You can instantiate OpenShift anywhere, but I will give you some idea about how I did it in IBM Cloud. Why I did it in IBM Cloud? Because I don't have any data center at all. And the best way for me was to leverage the infrastructure of our public cloud. But I will give you more detail on this when I plan to talk about the installation. That's what we plan to do. That's to have some synergy between different Cloud Paks. And one of them, that's to leverage Cloud Pak for integration features or components directly from Cloud Pak for multi-cloud management. And such as if you want to leverage MQ or Event Stream, you will be able to do this directly from Cloud Pak for multi-cloud management, for instance. And as well, this is a current trend. You will see with the common services, we leverage for one service feature from another Cloud Pak. This one was from a Cloud Pak for data. And you will see during the roadmap, and that's what I expect for the next release plan in 3 days, to get access to all the features of Cloud Pak for integration directly from the OpenShift console. So let's review now the different integration and common services. So I divided this in 5 different common services. First one, this is the platform navigator. So this is a single sign-on to get access to all components, all assets, such as API Connect, App Connect, MQ, Event Stream, Aspera, and MetaPower, and as well to all common services, such as asset repository, logging, monitoring, and so on. That's an easy way to navigate between the different components. And with this, there is the asset repository. The asset repository, which enables you to store everything you need or you want to reuse between the different components. Or that can be from managed outside and you want to import on the Cloud Pak for integration. This is a single point, or you can have several asset repositories, but that's a single point to store all your assets you want to reuse. And as well, so that like any platform, you want to have a solution to monitor the health of your platform, to know what's going wrong, what's going right, to get some alerts, to get some information in real time about the usage of your Cloud Pak for integration, and quickly identify what you must do to fix any issue. This is just a summary, and then the tracing to know how long you spend to manage this request between the different components of Cloud Pak for integration. But in more detail, let's talk about the platform navigator. You have seen one screen, but I will give you more a demonstration of this. A single point to get access to any component, any common services. And this from here as well, that you will be able to instantiate any component one to many times, by the way. You will get access to the asset repository, and as I told you, this is a synergy with the Cloud Pak for data. This is a knowledge catalog for Cloud Pak for data embedded in the Cloud Pak for integration, where you will be able to leverage any kind of resources, of resources such as connector, schema, XML schema, data mapping patterns, policy, documents, JSON objects, JSON schema, and so on and so forth. And that from this, you can import and export for any components managed by Cloud Pak for integration. And as well, you have the capability to integrate or this asset repository with GitHub. If you already have you manage your code source on GitHub, then you can leverage this quickly and expose all your assets in the asset repository, and then quickly leverage these different assets and use these different assets on the different components of Cloud Pak integration. The dashboard, that's everything you need to visualize the status of your different components. Identify the health of the different components, maybe extract some patterns, which could be useful, or maybe analyze these different patterns to know if you need to do an action to fix any potential issue. This is a real-time view, and this is across the platform. And you can review a specific traffic report, for instance. You can create some report or use pre-built reports for you. That's up to you. That's one thing as well could be interesting when you talk about monitoring. This is to get some alerts, and then you will be able to get an action quickly and try to fix it quickly. If there is any issue regarding the performance, regarding the usage of the CPU or memory and so on. And this last one, this is one thing which is very interesting, and the value of the Cloud Pak for integration. This is to have end-to-end tracing of the activity for one request in the different components. Let's review one example here. You can see this is a message or a transaction managed by Cloud Pak for integration. And you can see the different application and the time spent to manage this request into the different components. In this case, this is API Connect is doing several things. App Connect is used as well. MQ is used in the management of this request. That could be useful to identify when you need to do some improvement, and maybe when you spend most of the time to manage this request. And then maybe define what could be the next action to fix it if you need to fix it. As I told you, with Cloud Pak for integration, we leverage the best of what you can find on the market for each domain of activity in the integration. That's just to fix the idea about this. That's few metrics you will retrieve, such as when we talk about IBM Cloud Pak for integration, 23 of top 25 US retailers are using this the feature of Cloud Pak for integration. 21 of the top 25 insurance companies. 90% of global credit card transactions. 20 of the top 20 global communication service providers. 50 of the top 50 global banks. This is 100%. And 80% of all worldwide airline reservations. That's the current situation of Cloud Pak for integration. And now this is embedded in one, all components are embedded in one Cloud Pak, which enable you to easily leverage all the features of the different components and do a frictionless integration or usage of the different components together. That's it for the presentation or for the overview of the Cloud Pak for integration. This is the first lab I planned at the end of this morning. But to get to have your environment up and running, you need more than 30 minutes. That's why I want you to request an access to this right now. Then you will be able to start the lab straightforward. So I post the URL. This is the URL I post to the chat to get access to the registration of this lab. This is 1 hour lab. I invite you to get access to 1 day because you will use the same environment for all the labs I plan to run today. You must have an IBM ID, but anyway, if you don't have any, there is a form. A form will be displayed for you to do the registration and create your ID. So once you will get access to this lab, the only thing you need to do, this is to select the right country. For the try it out, select 1 day, agree or accept the term of use, and click reserve instance. Then you will get these 2 different messages, so wait for reserving and reservation requested. In few minutes, you should get access to this kind of URL with a URL to get access to the environment and the password to get access to this. And then this is what you will get. This is a full version of Cloud Pak for integration, version 2020.1. That's the latest release of Cloud Pak for integration. You will get this access for free. That will be your environment for today. And when you start working, you will instantiate this environment, you will see that they can take 30 minutes to have everything up and running. So what is in this environment? You will find 3 node worker or 3 virtual machine in this case to run the persistent storage. This one, SEF1, SEF2, and SEF3, and 4, by the way, NFS. Yes, NFS. You will find 3 master because with Red Hat OpenShift we must manage the high availability. That's why you will get 3 masters. 1 DNS to manage the network and interaction, and finally 4 workers to run the different services of Cloud Pak for integration. And the desktop, this is the one you will use to do the labs and to access to your environment. So once done, just click on the desktop and I will show you that you will get access, you will provide the right password, and you will get access to the environment to start working with the Cloud Pak for integration. In this presentation, at the end of this, there are some troubleshooting if you have some issue. This is really if you don't have access to the web pages. I expect that everything is up and running. But you will see I gave you some detail on different steps because sometimes it's not clear enough. So just to avoid any issue, just review the different troubleshooting step. For instance, in this case, don't forget to push this build and save. For this one, it's better to copy this curl command from the presentation because if you're doing this from the web page, you will have a lot of hidden character. That's a nightmare to debug, and so on and so forth. So concretely, what you will get, this is this tutorial. When you need to provide this information, get access, you will get a URL, and then you will get something like this. I need to refresh this. Back to the list of machines. That's the list of machines. This is a desktop. If you want to log in, you can use the keyboard, use click Shift and S, or maybe just type Enter, and then you get access to the login page. Password is IBM. No, this is Engage IBM. But everything is documented. Don't worry about this. Unlock, and then you get access to the web. You just need to open a web page. So I'm going to Cloud Pak for integration. That's the landing page. That's better. That's a landing page when you can review all instances of the different components, Aspera, MQ, Asset Repository, App Connect, and so on and so forth. And then you will be able to navigate between the different components. That's it for right now. So I invite you just to instantiate and request an access to this environment to be able to run the labs. It could take few minutes to get the email. So let's do this right now. And if you have any issue, just send me a question on the chat. All of you succeeded to get access to the environment. Once you have got the access and when you reach this, the list of virtual machine like this, just send me a message in the chat to know who succeeded to get access to this, or just say, I don't plan to do the lab. That's the installation. I give you some tips and information about to be able to do the installation by yourself. Let's review the documentation where you can find the right information to quickly start working with Cloud Pak for integration. Some steps about the installation, and I will share with you the install walkthrough at the end. In fact, what I did on IBM Cloud from the instantiation of Red Hat OpenShift until the deployment of one of the components. And the relationship between different versions between the version of Cloud Pak for integration and the different version of the component embedded in Cloud Pak for integration. Let's enable the transcript. I guess that should be easier for you to follow if this is well. So let's start with the documentation. And the first documentation, this is what we call playbook. The playbook, this is a summary to do your first installation of any Cloud Pak. As you can see, there is one for Cloud Pak for application, Cloud Pak for automation, integration, and multi-cloud manager, and so on. This is where you will find all the minimum of information to be able to instantiate and do the installation of one Cloud Pak. And that could be valuable because you won't be able to review all the parameters for the installation, but at least to be able to have the minimum of requirement to instantiate your first Cloud Pak for integration and start working with your Cloud Pak for integration. That avoid you to review all the knowledge center to get information for the different from OpenShift, from Cloud Pak for integration, and so on. And I think that's very valuable. That's the one I used when I did my first installation. And the second documentation or source of information, this is Knowledge Center. This is for this one. This is Cloud Pak for integration. You can select the right version for you. And as you can see, we have version 2019.2 until 2020.1. The 2019.2 is no longer supported, and we should have soon the new release 2020.2 in a few days. But you can select the right version, and you can get access to all details to do the installation, the management of the different components and the different settings. This is just for Cloud Pak for integration. If you want to get more insight and detail for the management of one of the components, such as App Connect, API Connect, or MQ, you must go to the knowledge center of the different components, the knowledge center of MQ, the knowledge center of App Connect, and to have an idea about the usage of these different components. This is that's a navigation you must be aware about. And I remind you, when we do the installation, this is on top of Red Hat OpenShift. And that's for all the Cloud Pak and all components and common services. And that's a way to be able to instantiate this anywhere. Quickly, but that's a very high-level overview about the architecture. When you will review the different Red Hat OpenShift, free worker, one master, and for the different services, you will retrieve messaging, app integration, gateway, event stream, API management, high-speed file transfer, and that's the 6 different components, and the common services associated to this. And each of them, this is the management of the different user interfaces done by Cloud Pak for integration on top. You have 3 possibilities to do the installation. That's the current situation. We should have one more in a few days, but I will talk about this in a few minutes. The first one, this is Red Hat OpenShift. This is what we call offline installation. In this case, that means that you don't have any access to internet when you're doing the installation. For this, you must download all the packages to do the installation from IBM Passport Advantage, and bring this on your machines and start the installation. This is one possibility. In this case, you need to have everything previously downloaded. The second one, this is the online installation. What does it mean in this case? You just need to instantiate a light version of the package. This is, I would say, the installer, the entry point. You will find on IBM Passport Advantage as well. And from this, the installer will upload all required packages needed to do the installation and to install all components of your Cloud Pak for integration. That's up to you to select the way you want to do the installation regarding your situation and your environment. The last option, that's what I did, That's you can instantiate IBM Cloud Pak for integration on IBM Cloud, on the public cloud of IBM, and this is what we call on Red Hat OpenShift Kubernetes Service on ROKS. That's a free option by today. What's in the installation, the first thing you need to do, this is to instantiate the OpenShift cluster. Define the right number of workers regarding what you want to instantiate at the beginning. Then you will instantiate a Cloud Pak for integration to install, I would say, or the platform navigator, more or less. Then up to you to select the components you want to instantiate. It could be asset repository, could be tracing, could be cloud private. That's one of the requirements. Used to be a requirement, but it's no longer useful now. But I will explain, give you more insight about it. And the different components: App Connect, API Connect, MQ, Event Stream, Data Power, and Aspera. What is the relationship between the different versions of the different components? You can see that you use Cloud Private or IBM Cloud Private only for the version 2019.3. That's a historical framework, I would say. We used to have this IBM Cloud Pak Cloud Private with Red Hat, but we move all this feature, all the capabilities of this Cloud Private on Red Hat OpenShift now. That's why Cloud Private is no longer available. Useful, I would say, for the latest release of Cloud Pak for integration. What is the difference between the versions? So for the .3, this is the usage of Cloud Private, and as well the usage of the OpenShift 3.11. Now we can leverage the version 4.2 and 4.3 to instantiate the different Cloud Pak for integration. For the different components, there's few differences, by the way, for each of them. The biggest difference, from my point of view, this is for App Connect. Because with the new release, with the current release of Cloud Pak for integration, I mean 2020.1, you can get with App Connect the designer. So I remind you, the designer, this is the way to design by using graphical user interface, the data flow and the interaction between the different applications, such as SAP, Salesforce, and so on. You don't have access to this designer with the previous version of App Connect. That's the biggest difference here. For the rest of the components, that's more or less the same thing. And what we expect, this is in 3 days, get access to the version 2020.2, which I don't know if it will run on top of the OpenShift 4.4. I expect to, but I will give you some detail about what we can expect in terms of features with the new release. What is the requirements when you want to do the installation? The minimum, according to the documentation, to do the installation, this is with 3 workers, with 8 CPU, 32 GB of memory, with 1 master, 1 infrastructure, and 1 boot. The boot, this is just for the installation. But that's really the minimum. And what I did, and this, if you want to instantiate all components, the best way is to have 11 workers with 8 cores and 32 GB of memory. This is what I did on cloud, on IBM Cloud, to instantiate Cloud Pak for integration. And the recommendation, if you want to do this on premises, this is as well on workers with 2 storage nodes, if you want to run all components. let's review the installation on Rock. But I think the best way that I'm showing you an illustration in real life by using my account on IBM Cloud. First thing you must do, this is instantiate a Red Hat OpenShift and select the right number of nodes. In my case, that would be 11 nodes, and just start the installation of this. It's done in 30 minutes, no more. Once you have your cluster ready to use, you will be able to start the installation of Red Hat of Cloud Pak for integration. That's what you can find on IBM Cloud. This is a console of Red Hat OpenShift 3.11. That's a little bit different with the 4.2 and 3. So once your cluster is ready, just need to go back to the catalog of IBM Cloud and click on the tile Cloud Pak for integration. You have to provide few parameters, or the name, the location, more that's it, and as well select the cluster you want to use to associate your Cloud Pak for integration. And that's it. After this, your Cloud Pak for integration is ready to use. But we'll see this in real in few minutes. Or in illustration, an overview of the different user interfaces you will be able to leverage with your Cloud Pak for integration. And I'm doing this by using my instantiation on IBM Cloud. So for the installation, as you have seen, the first thing you must do, that just to go back to, first of all, that landing page. If you are not familiar with IBM Cloud, this is a dashboard. From this, you can go to the catalog or maybe start to create a new resource. If I'm doing to create resource, click on create resource. Then from here, I can leverage containers and just click on Red Hat OpenShift to instantiate my cluster required to do the installation. Click on this. That's the one. So I'm using, have some license for me. So that's why I don't need to pay twice. And you can see that there is a calculator at the right side, just to have an idea about the final cost of your instance for your cluster. If I'm going to the different nodes, how many nodes? That's a version. That's the right one. Test Africa multiple zone. For this one, maybe I will use a Unix zone. And let's do this with Dallas. I'm setting the number of workers I want to do, but I can change the version because 4 that could be limited, and I want to have with 1 unit virtual CPU and 32 gigabytes of memory. So select this one, hit done, and then define the number of nodes, for instance, 11 in my case. And maybe define the right name and click create. And that's it. Once you have done this, I already did it, by the way. So I'm going back to my existing resource and my existing cluster. And one of my cluster should be my cluster for CP4I 2023.1. And from here, you can review the list of workers. So I have 11 workers, as you can see. But I can get access as well to the console. So the second step you must do, this is to instantiate your Cloud Pak for integration. That's easy as well on our IBM Cloud. Create resource as well. Just select Cloud Pak. And then you will retrieve all Cloud Pak. You can instantiate each of them. And if you select Cloud Pak for integration, you just need to select the right cluster and maybe name it. And that should be and few other parameters, and that's it. Few words on different capabilities you will find on IBM Cloud. If I select in category integration, then you can see that you have Cloud Pak for integration. That's good. You have as well MQ, Event Stream, secure gateway. That's what we can use. And I expected some others such as API Connect and App Connect. Surprised you don't see it here. And just to be sure, yeah, it's there. I don't know why now it's no longer displayed in the integration feature, but anyway. Let's try again. That's integration. Yeah, that's the right selection. Okay, I can see it now when I'm in services. Just to tell you that we have several possibilities to instantiate the different components. API Connect, MQ, and the others. One of them, this is on Cloud Pak for integration. The second one that you can, as you can see here, you can instantiate the component directly on IBM Cloud as a service. But you can instantiate this in standalone on top of Red Hat OpenShift anywhere, as you can do this on the Cloud Pak for integration. That we have three possibilities to do the installation. It depends on what you want to do, the number of components you want to do, and if you want to integrate several of them, or enable the interaction of several of them. In this case, that could be valuable to use Cloud Pak for integration. But take care of the version of the different components, because the version for API Connect, for instance, on IBM Cloud, sorry, this is the version 5, and on Cloud Pak for integration, this is version 2018. That means that you don't have the same version regarding the environment. You should have the same version soon with the version 10, if I'm correct, of API Connect. So just need to keep this in mind. If you want to start working with API Connect on cloud, the UI will be different with the instance on top of Cloud Pak for integration. And that can confuse you. So that's for the information. Now let's go to my Cloud Pak for integration, and you will retrieve this information on schematics. That's a list of workspaces, and one of them, this is the one associated to Cloud Pak for integration. This is this one. And to open the instance, so I can access to the Cloud Pak for integration user interfaces by clicking here. Login page. And then this is the landing page. Skip the welcome. So as you can find in your environment, you will retrieve the different instances of your products or of your components you installed. on Cloud Pak for integration. You can navigate by using the hamburger menu or top left. So I'm going to API Connect, for instance, here. I will retrieve all detail about the API I want to expose. Time to get access to the page. Yeah. And from this, I can review the different API. This is what I did. And if you want to do the labs related to API Connect, we will create a piece of them. That's a list of API and a list of products where you leverage a different API and the different version of the API, for instance. This is for when you create this. But if you want to expose this one will be exposed on a specific catalog. For this, just need to go to my current catalog, which is called Sandbox. And then you will retrieve the same product, but with a list of API, associated to each of them. Oh, by the way, and the state to know if you publish, if this is published, that means if the product will be visible to the developer portal and accessible to any developer who wants to leverage this API, or maybe you can retry this this product if it is no longer supported or for any reason, or you just need to maybe just want to state because you're still working on this product, for instance, or the list of API related to associated to this product. This is for API Connect. So you will do during the labs, you will create your first queue. You will leverage App Connect as well, and the toolkit of App Connect to get access to a data flow. You will expose on MQ. And one thing you will doing as well, this is to leverage common services with tracing and dashboard. So if I'm going to Event Stream, but that will be the subject this afternoon. Let's navigate to Event Stream. Here, before you can have access to all the topics, only one, using free partition and free replica, and in the consumer group. Yeah, I need to instantiate my consumer group first to make this visible. Yeah, that's it more or less for the demonstration. If I'm going back to your environment, that this one, click on desktop, enter, engage IBM as password, but everything is documented. Then you get access to the platform. Just refresh. I guess there is a timeout. Oh, that's fine. The first thing you need to do, this is to open the MQ instance, MQ1, and create, that's a logout. Start again. And create your first queue. Just click at widget, queue, and then this is a way to start working with. Everything is well documented, so if you're going back to this step by step, Let's back to the beginning. Yeah. Step by step, you have all information to do this, login, the creation of the queue. And I remind you, in my presentation, there is some troubleshooting at the end of the presentation, which will help you if you have any issue. But anyway, I'm still there. I propose you to start right now the lab for 1 hour. So maybe let's finish the lab at around 12 to know what is the situation. So we talked this morning about Cloud Pak for integration and the value to be agile and to quickly leverage existing solution or data you want to leverage to provide a new user experience for your end user. So I remind you that I gave you an example. Due to the pandemic, several retailers had to propose new features such as click to collect or order a visit of the physical shop by using a website, and they did it in 2 weeks because it wasn't no longer acceptable to do an integration or an implementation of new feature in months. And moreover, when we had to do this quickly because due to the announcement and direction, the time to react correctly, that's less than 1 week. So now let's continue with one of the components. So I gave you a description of different components: API Connect, App Connect, MQ, Event Stream, Aspera, and Data Power. Now we focus on IBM Event Streams. Behind this is Kafka. Kafka, this is an open standard developed by Linkedit, and now this is available. You can leverage this for free if you want, but that's an implementation done by IBM. I remind you, we were the first sellers of Kafka for enterprise in 2015, 2 years ago. So, what's the value to work with IBM Event Stream? That's to react in real time to any kind of events. So, an event can be anything. That can be something happen on websites. That can be information provided by a third party. That can be an update on the databases. We are able with IBM Event Stream to react in real time, and as well to scale regarding the number of requests. And that's the only way if you want to propose something to your end user. If you don't collect this information in real time, you won't be able to provide answer in real time to the end user and be responsive. And in parallel, propose personalized user experiences. And as well, that could be helpful if you want to get a huge amount of data. To have the capability to ingest this huge amount of events, and then behind this, use this huge amount of event or data to identify some pattern, have a better knowledge of your customer, or maybe just have some idea about what could be the best solution, the best produce, the best services to your end users. So let's talk about one references when we talk about event-driven to deliver client experiences. It was done for retail, and for retail we can leverage mobile application. And this mobile application can enable you. You can leverage all the feature of the mobile application when you use a mobile application from your mobile. One of them, this is a geolocation, for instance, and the capability to be connected at any time. That's what we did for a retailer leveraging telco solution. So with your mobile application, you can receive or send any notification. We can push to you some notification if you're going to physical shop or a mall, you can push you a specific notification to provide you a discount for a product or for a service regarding your location in this case, because we are able to capture this information when you are connected to the in-store Wi-Fi. And that's applicable anywhere in the shop. That means you can geolocalize you in the shop, and if you are close to maybe a kind of product, send you some discount for this kind of product. And why we are able to do this? Because we leverage even, and we're doing this in real time, and we are able to scale dynamically the acquisition of this amount and to react in real time to this huge amount of event. That's by using Event Stream in this case of Kafka implementation. And this is one example for retail, but you can imagine a lot of different examples for different kind of industry. That one of them, that's to enable you to unlock your data. If you want to expose your data, so let's imagine that you have some data which could be valuable for your end user or for maybe your company, and you would like to expose. You can do this by using the capability of IBM Event Stream. Decide to expose this data later on up to any consumer in outside your company or in your company to consume this information. This is because with Event Stream, this is not synchronized interaction. This is not synchronized, not coupling information. This is a loose coupling between sources and destination. I mean that you can the source or the source of information is not aware about who will consume this information. That's as well one of the values, which means that you can populate the data without knowing who will consume this information, and that can do this later on asynchronously. And like this, you can start deploy or expose your data that will be used by some third-party application. And if you can do this, that means that you can consume the information straightforward. If you want to deploy this information, that's not you don't need weeks or months to do this. That you can do straightforward immediately. How the data is available and exposed by using IBM Event Stream, you can consume this information. And as well, if you want, you can add some new services to publish the same kind of data or something else, which can be consumed by any existing consumer. And that's by doing this loose coupling as well, that's valuable. Event Stream, this is more or less what we call a publish-subscribe application. You push or publish information on IBM Event Stream. Then you have some subscriber or some consumer of this Event Stream. As I told you, this is loose coupling. And as well, as we store the information forever, or usually this is for 7 days, but you can store this forever. Any event captured by Event Stream can be stored forever. And then later on, any subscriber can consume this information without any impact of your backend solution. And that means that you can add periodically new consumer, new application, leveraging this source of information without any update or any impact of your backend system. That's as well an example. And just to finish, this is if you need to move your data close to your application or close to your customer, that Event Stream can be used for this kind of option. That and it helps you to move the data from a location to another one by using a geolocation, for instance, geo-replication. And like this information managed by Event Stream will be accessible quickly without any latency from your local replica. and that's potential. That's as well an option which can be used can be leveraged with IBM Event Stream as well. So to go further, that's as you know, IBM Event Stream. This is an implementation of Apache Kafka, and with all features and capabilities of Kafka, but with new features to help you to easily implement the different objects you have to manage with IBM Event Stream or with Kafka, to design your geo-replication, to leverage a connector. You have plenty of connector in the IBM Event Stream catalog, which can help you to quickly, with a minimum effort of development, integrate or leverage IBM Event Stream from existing applications. And I remind you, IBM Event Stream can be instantiated in standalone on IBM Cloud and as well in the public cloud, in the Cloud Pak for integration. That's easy to instantiate. Moreover, if you're using Cloud Pak for integration, this is a summary that on the left, this is a copy of the screenshot. You just need to provide few information from parameters to instantiate your first event stream. That's what you're doing, by the way, during the first lab. You will create your first instance. You will install your first instance of event stream on top of IBM on IBM Cloud Pak for integration, and that's the objective. And then you will work as well. I will create your first network usually. And as before, as any component, this is based on containers. And with this, you are able to manage data recovery, high availability, and the scalability of your IBM Event Stream. One of the value to use Event Stream as well, the IBM Event Stream, this is zero downtime upgrades. You have the capability to have the 100% or more or less 99 something percent of availability without any issue, even during a maintenance process. And then keep up to date your Kafka. And as well, you will see that you can manage all the components, or I would say all the different versions of your data schema you want to exchange with Kafka. You can manage different versions, and regarding the consumer or the producer, up to them to decide to use, I want to use the version 1 of this data schema, or maybe the version 2 of the data schema. And we can do this with IBM Event Stream without any issue. It's managed in standalone by out of the box. Sorry. With this IBM Event Stream, we will provide some features to manage, I would say, the Kafka features, but as well some tools to help you to speed up the implementation of your first event stream management or manager. And one of them, this is the toolbox. And with this, in the toolbox, the first thing you will do during the first lab, it is to generate the starter application. The starter application is a sample application which simulates what is a producer and what is a consumer, and see what you can manage the interaction or the exchange of data between them, and the value of Cloud Pak, of IBM Event Stream. Then you have as well several dashboards to monitor the activity of your different topics. So I will explain what's the topics in few seconds. And just to continue with the different features of Cloud Pak for of IBM Event Stream. So there is a monitoring as well, a solution leveraging existing implementation with Grafana in our case, or maybe you can leverage your own monitoring solution. You can push the data from IBM Event Stream to your own platform if you want. That's a potential option, and that's easy to do. And as well, to manage high availability and disaster recovery, it's easy if you did an implementation for this. If you instantiate OpenShift, your cluster in different locations, and you're doing, you enable these capabilities when you instantiate Cloud Pak for integration, then you will be able to use geo-replication capabilities of IBM Event Stream, and like this, decide to have several replica in your replica in the different regions across the world for disaster recovery and availability. Like this is one of them is down for any reason. The second one will be will continue to work with the application leveraging leveraging IBM Event Stream. And you can do this with IBM Event Stream in few clicks, quite easily. And that's the same idea. Time to finish my coffee. I'm ready. And that's another view for the same thing. This is the management of different partition and replica for the partition for specific topics in different zones. And the best practice is to have at least 3 different zones for redundancy and disaster recovery, knowing that if one of them is down, that the second one will manage this and so on. And if one of them is for any reason in maintenance, there is one, the last one should be up and running to continue the activity with IBM Event Stream and enable your application to capture or maybe send event to IBM Event Stream. So I will talk to the schema when I will talk to the concept. The schema, this is the capability to manage different versions of your data. You can define a schema version. In this case, you can see 3.1, 2.4, and so on. Up to the application to work with a specific version of the schema definition. And then like this, you can manage different versions for different kind of, or different consumer or different producer without disrupting the exchange between source and destination. Connectors. You will find a lot of out-of-the-box connectors. You can see IBM MQ, and that will be the subject of the second labs. You will do an integration between IBM MQ and IBM Event Stream. I'll remind you, this IBM MQ, this is 25 years old product, and most of the global companies are using MQ. That's why I would say this is a requirement to be able, when you talk about integration, to leverage the MQ capabilities and as well to leverage all databases or solutions managed with MQ. Several other examples, IBM Cloud Object Storage, Couchbase as well, and so on. This is the same view connector, but I will give you more detail on this. So a seamless integration, so you will see this. You will be able to leverage with a minimum of development any MQ with any MQ solution with MQ, IBM Event Stream, sorry. And that's an example when you can consume some event from anywhere, and then manage this in IBM Event Stream by, in this case, exposing some REST API. In terms of packaging, so I gave you a description. The first option, this is on top of Cloud Pak for integration with the other IBM, the other components. But you can instantiate this on IBM Cloud. There are several options. You can do this in isolated, I mean on dedicated environment. If you want to isolate your instance of Cloud IBM Event Stream, or if you have a dedicated environment, you don't want the data going outside this isolated environment, that's something you can do. Or you can leverage, this is the usual, multi-tenant environment. This is when you instantiate the IBM Event Stream directly as services on IBM Cloud. And you can do this almost anywhere, on premises or any public cloud, by leveraging a Red Hat OpenShift. You can instantiate and install your IBM Event Stream where you want. And just to finish with the overview, this is for this is useful link you can use to get access to Garage service and some other information related to the usage of IBM Event Stream, and as well, it's not displayed here, but you can have access to the knowledge center of IBM Event Stream, or just Google it, and this is easy to find. This is for a quick overview of IBM Event Stream before talking about the key concept. So if you're ready, if you have any question, I'm still there, but I'm ready to start talking about the key concept if you don't have any question.
I think you can continue, but there is no question in the chat session.
Okay, so let's continue. Is it time for me to find the right presentation? Yes. This one. So let's talk about the IBM Event Stream and the key concept, or the key concept of Kafka. That's more or less the same thing. First thing, let's talk about the value and what could be the situation. Let's imagine that you have this kind of architecture, a website, a CRM solution to manage customer information, a stock solution to manage, or this could be a supply chain a solution to know where are your products and how many times to deliver this product to your customer, and a marketing solution if you want to propose some discount to your end users. Let's imagine this is our e-commerce site, and all these components are working together by leveraging REST API. That's something you can have. This is, and the communication is, we're doing this in real time, more or less. But what you need to do if you want to get some information or to store any exchanges, you need to have an event store. That's a new component you need to add in your infrastructure, in your architecture, if you want to be able later on maybe to review what's going on this kind of network without reviewing each component. So let's imagine you want to do this. But what's going on is later on, you have plenty of requests on your website, which means that you'll have plenty of requests to know where are your product, or if the product are available or not. And that can happen when we talk about your e-commerce sites. Or I don't know I'm sure you know that in retail, where there are several huge events in the year. One of them, in Western country, could be Christmas. you have plenty of people buying a lot of things during the Christmas period. But as well for North America, there is another big event. This is the Black Friday. The Black Friday, that you be sure that you will get a lot of requests and access to your website. But you must be able to scale this dynamically and easily without any interruption of your services. But how to do this? By the way, if you're using a standard architecture, you must use load balancer, you must duplicate the website, and so on. So let's see how IBM Event Stream can help you in this case to manage and to scale dynamically. So what else as well? If there is one component is no longer available, can we continue to do the job in this case, or do you have to return an error to the website, for instance, or are you be able to just continue your activity in this case? How we can manage this easily, and that could be as well one of the value of IBM Event Stream. And one thing let's imagine you have several versions of the supply chain or several versions of the information you want to expose or consume with Event Stream. Do you have to update all the application leveraging your stock application in one time? It could be a big bang update. Are you able to manage two versions in this case? That's some question you can have in mind to be able to upgrade your solution. And that as well could be an option and the way, a value to use IBM Event Stream. And just to fix all of this issue, so one thing we can propose this is to use Event Backbone. With this, you will be able to scale up and to manage the event sources and the scalability of these event sources. So I gave you a description of this. And as well from any kind of sources, databases, Internet of Things, or maybe website in our case. And put this information to an application. I'm going fast. Store this information in your event log and archive everything that will be accessible later on to any application if you want to start from the beginning, or maybe to start for a specific date or specific offset. That's a short description of Event Stream. The objective is really to fix all of these issues such as scalability, versioning, store the information, even loose coupling like this. If one of your solution is down, you can continue to propose the same user experiences to your end user, and so on. To sum up, with Event Backbone, you have a stream history. You are able to scalable the consumption, to scalable the production, to keep immutable data in the stream history. And that could be, you can manage high availability with this. So now how we can do this with IBM Event Stream or Kafka. So going fast on this. And for this, I will describe the different key concepts of feature of Kafka. This is a high-level description or architecture about what we can find in IBM Event Stream. The Kafka clusters, one to many. Producer, which produce data. Consumer, which consumes the data. I remind you quickly, this Kafka, this is publish subscribe solution. We review the different kind of connectors to ingest data from external system or to push data to external system. You will see that you can update the data with Kafka by using stream processor, and I will give you some other description about them about Kafka. So let's talk about Kafka cluster. You know what is when you talk about cluster. This is most of the time this is a machine or running different containers or different virtual machines. Could be in different location in this case. This is what could be physical or virtual virtual object for the Kafka. This is more or less a Kafka server. The minimum that's to have to manage redundancy, this is to have 3 brokers. The best that's to have at least 5 different brokers, and the best in different geolocation. What you're doing in this broker? We manage partition. And partition, this is a key word. This is a key concept to manage high availability, disaster recovery, scalability. A partition, as you can see, we have 3 different partitions in the 3 different brokers. You can have much more. But in this example, this is 3. And this partition is associated to the topic A. A topic, this is what you want to exchange in IBM Event Streams. That could be specific data with a specific schema. That can be anything, or that could be a document, a video, and so on. But that's related to one thing you want to exchange, which means that the application who wants to exchange this kind of information will use this topic, and the consumer who wants to get information about this kind of information will use this topic. This is just a word, a definition of what you want to exchange in IBM Cloud Pak, in IBM Event Streams. And for each partition of topics A, in this case, you can define different replica. The replica, this is a copy, a synchronous copy of the partition 1. As we're using 3 different clusters, in this case, we have 3, and we decided to have 3 replica. That means that you have 1 leader for the partition 1, topics A, and 2 followers. The leader will be the access point for any Kafka client to get access to push data, to publish data, and subscribe data. That's, I would say, a usual situation. And if you multiply this by the number of partitions, you should have something like this. This is a different replica, different partition you can have. This one will be the leader for the partition 1A, and that's a different replica. This one will be the leader for topic A, partition 2. That's a different replica, and so on. That's the leader for topic A, partition 3, and so on. So now let's imagine that you still have a leader and 2 followers. If the leader is offline, then a new leader will be elected. Will be designed or will be elected, to be simple. And in this case, that will be the first replica in the broker 2. And then the application will get access to this one. And you will be able to continue, and the system will continue to interact and exchange data with the new leader. The time for the first one, for the first broker to be happen again. When we talk about synchronization, you can have different situations for the follower, in synchronize or out of synchronize. And that means that one of them is updated periodically in less than 10 seconds. This is the meaning of out of synchronization. And like this, if at least one of them is synchronized, you will be able to continue with your activity. And you can design how many replica you want to be up and running to be able to assign a new leader if the leader is down for any reason. And this is by using this information. If you said that the minimum of the replica is 2, that means that you need to have 2 asynchronized replica to assign to continue your activity in this case. So let's imagine that the replica, the leader is pushing data, the producer is pushing data to the topic A partition 1, and some consumer are consuming this information. If for any reason there is less than you don't have any you don't have any asynchronized replica like this. In this case, this is you don't have. After 2, this is the number of replica asynchronized. I mean, this is the leader plus 1 follower. If the follower is out of replica, out of synchronization in this case, that means that is not longer acceptable for your system. And what your IBM Event Stream is doing, this is it will refuse all new information or data from any producers. In this case, you must wait for one of the new followers, one of the followers to be asynchronized to continue to your activity. And that's the meaning of this minimum. That's why usually the best way the minimum is to have 3 brokers. The best way should be to have 5. Like this, you can have 1 down, 1 in maintenance. There's 3 up and running. And if you set this kind of parameters, you are able to continue your activities. This is for the management of partition. In terms of high availability in this case. Let's talk about producer, how we manage producer. The producer, this is any application who wants to publish data to any topics. And is doing this directly to the leader. And then the system will replicate this information to the different replica or followers of this partition of the dedicated topics. How it works, what is the topic? This is a list of offset, a list of a message you collect like this, and you add this in sequence, start to 0 until 5, for instance. This is what we call an offset. The offset, this is just a way to know what is your situation and what is the number where is the data you want to get. It's related to the offset number associated to the topic, the name of the topic and the partition. In the topic, you have key and value. That's a couple of information you can store. A partition from the topic can have a serial offset, in this case 5 different offsets. And for each of them, there is a key, an associated key, and the associated value. But the key is not required, by the way. That's up to you. That could be helpful if you want to, if you're looking for some specific data in your dedicated topics. Or if you're looking for all records related to the key A, then you will be able to leverage this information, or related to the key B, or related to the key C, and so on. And if you're using this as well, that could be that helps the system to manage the scalability of your solution. So what it's doing, by using the hash key, the value of the hash key, it will associate the value and the topic and the key, the data you want to exchange to the right partition. In sequence here, you can see that the partition 0 I'm managing all the records related to the key A, B, and C. For the partition 1, is managing the key D, F, and that is for the partition 2. This is all record related with the key G and H in this case, and I, by the way. And the system is doing this automatically. If you don't do any classification by yourself, what it's doing, if you're using a key, IBM Event Stream will hash this key and will use this key to split this information into different partitions. And like this, you can have several producers sending this information, and IBM Event Stream will manage this for you. After this, up to the producer to retrieve the right information about this topic to any partition. This is, I would say, the simple classification and you can have, but that can be much more complex. You can decide to assign to a specific partition a specific record associated to a specific value. That's a possibility for any reason. Maybe you want to associate all records related to one location to this partition. Just use a specific keyword to do this, and to the other that will be the key associated to the other location to do the split, for instance. I remind you, in Event Stream, this is a log. You can store the log, but you must define how many times or what could be the size of storage. The usual time to store this is to you can do this for 7 days, but that can be longer, and as well that can be you can assign a specific volume of retention and not uniquely the time. And for a specific time, you can ask to IBM Event Stream to, I would say, compact the information or clean this information to keep only what makes sense regarding the policy you define. And what's like this? So let's imagine you have this partition, and you want to IBM Event Stream to compact this, and you define the specific policy for this. And in this case, we'll only keep the latest information from the for each different key we will keep only the last record identified for a specific key. That's what we want to get. That's why here you will, if you're going from the left, that's the latest one. This is for the key B. This is B2. That's good. For key C, this is C2. Okay. So we skip this one because we have already the key C. Let's go and retrieve the key A. This is A2. That's the way you want to manage and to compact this information to release some space. That's a possibility you can have with Watson, with IBM Event Stream. So how we can populate this information? I gave you an idea when we talk about key management and use the hash key. But in terms of repartition, if you don't use any key, the system will use sequentially all the partitions, start from the 0, 1, 2, like this. Add the new record 4 in partition 0, partition 1, partition 2, and so on. 5, 1, 2, 6, and so on. If you want, and then you can decide to have a specific classification if you're using a specific key. This is usual. If you don't do anything, it's done for you. How we can get an acknowledgement when you send this information to the fact that the information is acquired by IBM Event Stream. The simple thing, this is fire and forget. This is quite usual when you talk about publish, subscribe. The source of information doesn't care about who is using this, or maybe is just pushing this information. That's why we're saying fire and forget. We can wait for one broker to acknowledge that we acquired this information. And like this, you'll be sure that at least you have recorded this information that will be replicated later on. Or you can wait for the answer for all replica of the broker to be sure that if for any reason, if the leader is down, this information was correctly stored in your IBM event stream, and in this case will be retrieved even the leader is down. But that's an option, but that takes more time to do this. Let's imagine you have plenty of replica, and if you wait for 10 different replica, you can maybe wait for several seconds to do this. And the producer can choose to do some retry. This is quite usual. One time or not, no retry. There is some figure. This is more or less fire and forget. Doesn't care about this. He put this information, even this is not captured by IBM Event Stream. Yes, it's fine. Or maybe he can choose to retry this with a number of retry, potential retry. So let's talk about consumer now. And that's as well, a consumer can consume information from different topics and from different partitions. And how we can consume this information. So I remind you, in the topic, you have a different record. Each of them has an offset, that's a number, in the not the classification, but to order of the different records. And such like this, there is offset 2, there is the offset 5, and so on. A consumer can decide just to commit to automatically commit and retrieve the latest information, either because we store there is a copy of the topic for each consumer saying where are the latest information captured. Like this, the consumer will be able to return to the latest offset and retrieve all messages from this offset. They can, and as well, they can try to reprocess this for any reason, or you can decide which one you want to consume. And when we talk about consumer, to manage scalability, you can create what we call a consumer group. The consumer group contains one or more consumers working together to process the messages. And these messages from a single partition are processed by one consumer in each group. That's the way to leverage a different partition of specific topics. Like this, let's imagine that this consumer 1 will consume the information from this partition, and as well from the second one, and this the consumer 2 will consume the information from the partition 3. And that's a way if you want to consume quickly and to manage the scalability from the consumer point of view by managing a consumer group. So let's give you more detail on this. So let's imagine that you have 3 different partitions, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, and 2. There are 2 different groups, consumer groups, A and B. This one has 3 different consumers, and this one has 2 different consumers. What's going on? In this case, IBM Event Stream will assign to a specific partition a specific consumer. As here, we have 3 different partitions and 3 consumers. Each partition will be assigned to a consumer. And then this consumer will get the information from the partition 0, this one from the partition 1, and so on. So let's imagine from the group B now, this partition will be, the first partition will be pushed to the consumer wall. What's going on with the two next? The two next could be assigned to the second consumer in this case. That can be organized like this, or maybe the first consumer will consume the information from partition 0 to or 1. That's as well possible. But what's going on for the consumer in this case? That nothing, in fact, because as we don't have any more partition here, this one won't be able to consume anything. But if later on, let's imagine that you multiply the number of partitions, this new consumer will be assigned to the new one, to the new partition, dynamically. And that could be very valuable to manage the scalability dynamically. So let's continue with consumer group. So how we manage the election, I would say, the assignment of the different partition to the different consumer. First of all, in the broker, there is a coordinator. Mainly, this is the main partition, in this case, partition 0. This coordinator will decide who will be the leader. Oh, sorry. Yeah, and in the consumer group, there is a leader. What is going on here? That this leader will request to the coordinator what will be this assignment. Up to the coordinator to assign one topics or one partition per consumer, or at least to assign the right partition to the right consumer. This is the way we manage, I would say, the scalability and the coupling between partition and consumer. So what is the role of the coordinator? That's first to manage the list of group members. For the leader, this is and initiate the rebalance activity between the different partition and the different consumer. If there is between the rebalance, if there is any, that would be you cannot read for a short period of time any information, but you can retrieve and retrieve this in seconds, in fact, a few seconds. And then the leader will execute the rebalance activity defined by the coordinator, and send the new partition assignment to the coordinator. And as well, the coordinator communicate about new assignment to consumers. This is the interaction between partition or coordinator and group, a consumer group, I mean the leader of the consumer group. That's a way to manage the balance between partition and consumer. So let's talk about now stream processor. Stream processor, this is when you want to do some update, or you just want to filter the information sent by the producer and export this in different way to the consumer. There are several options, filter and map. And just to give you more insight about this, you will get something like this. So let's imagine that you have an input topics, and you will use Kafka stream for this. If you get this kind of message, full of record with a key food red, value red, bar orange, full yellow, bingo green, bingo blue, bar purple. You can define a specific stream by using case stream, something like this. Here, what you want to get, this is to capture the information with a keyword equal to bingo here. And you want to update the value and use only uppercase. In this case, you will transform the value, which could be exposed into your output topics. And what could be the result? Then you will get this kind of out topics if you want. And that's a possibility if you want to transform for any reason information capture and the information you want to expose. Is there any questions so far? I cannot see.
No question in the chat right now.
Okay, perfect. This is for Kafka stream. So let's continue with connectors. That's another way to capture information from sources and to push information from any sources. We can leverage existing connectors. And one of them, this is MQ, that's the one you will use during the intern. In this case, we use Kafka to get information and push information. So what we're doing with this, you can collect information from any sources, transform this information, and convert this information if needed to for any reason, and then that will be populated to one topics of Kafka. And by the way, this is not because this is not even this is, you can see the source and connector and sync connector that you have to use this in parallel. You can have just a source connector publishing this on specific topics. This topic will be consumed by any consumer. And as well, you can have some producer pushing some information on the topic, which will be at the end consumed by an external application by leveraging a specific connectors. So first of all, there are plenty of connectors available out of the box on the shelf. One of them is MQ, but you can see if you want to leverage Internet of Things, you can use MQTT, but there are some others that if you want to manage some databases with JDBC or MQSQL and so some others. If you want to have a holistic view of the different connector, just use this URL to get access to the list. And that's an example here. You can maybe use a specific connectors to from a databases, and these databases will be consumed by any Kafka application, or maybe you can publish any information from a Kafka application to push this to a database. That's an option. The same thing with Elasticsearch, for instance, just to illustrate an example of use cases. One thing I want to highlight when we talk about partition and management of partition, if you have this kind of information in text file, that any line will be sent as a record, as a message, or as an event. Like this, if you leverage a source connector, by the way, you can have the N2 partition. You can have this kind of split into two different partitions. Like you can see, start the middle, and ending, the beginning, conclusion, finish. And if you sending this information to any destination, you could have this kind of result. And if you want to have a strict copy between of the file from the beginning ingested by the consumer, take care of this. You need to do some effort to manage correctly the different lines in this case, and the synchronization. Schema is interesting. That enables you to manage different versions, or I would say the Apache Kafka can handle any data. It can be any messages, video, or something else, but most of the time this is data, which you want to exchange to describe what is the event. And for this, you can associate the data to a specific schema to help producer to create data that conform, or maybe leverage this data that conform the predefined structure pushed by the producer. for instance. So Event Stream support the schema and include the schema registry for using and managing this different version of schema. And that's consumable by the producer and by the consumer. Like this, the information sent by the producer is conformed to the specific schema, and the consumer will use the specific schema. Sorry, 1 second, please. Sorry, I am at home and somebody at the door. Yeah, okay, that's the value of schema. Like this, the producer will send information which follow the schema definition, and the consumer is aware about how will the schema used by these kind of topics by reviewing this information on the schema registry. So like this, you can push information. Sorry, where I am. A message associated to a payload, and just to tell you that we're using Apache Avro, which is an open source data to serialize the information and deserialize the information. I would say to organize and to write and read this information. Most of the time, this is in JSON format. That's what I'm saying, serialize and deserialization of the information. And like this, whenever you have the schema and any subsequent version of all the schema, Event Stream can manage this different version and send some issue or send some warning to any application who wants to leverage a not up-to-date version of the schema, for instance. There is a warning process to this. So you can simply create a new version of an existing schema and enable any consumer to leverage this new version, and which enable any producer to leverage this new version, and at the end enable any consumer to use this new version of the schema definition. Like this, you are able to manage different versions of the topics. Of the data associated to the topics. And you can transform this version. You must be able to manage, I would say, compatibility between the different versions or with the existing version. So, and as well, you can manage the life cycle of the different schema. That means regarding the version, if this is all the version, you can decide, I disable this version, or first of all, I deprecate this version, just to send an awareness to all producer or all consumers, saying that take care, that this version should be removed soon. Then we can disable this and at the end delete this version. And that's a very flexible way to easily manage without any interruption of the service, the upgrade of your schema or the upgrade of your specific topics. And you can get something like this. New producer for a period of time will use the new release or the new version of version 2, and the old producer can continue to the one, and the vice versa. New consumer can consume previous version or new schema, and that's managed by IBM Event Streams. What you can do with IBM Event Stream, you can, as I told you, you can use IBM Event Stream to manage replication of your databases and maybe migrate your data from a location to another one. This is what this is done by change data capture, and this is not in specific technology or infrastructure. This is more a pattern of communication. What we're doing here, we just keep in mind the events sent by databases, and let's IBM Event Stream manage the replication to the different databases leveraging associated to the master database. So like this, you can manage different replica of your database in this case. That's it for the overview of IBM Event Stream, and as well for an introduction of the different concepts of IBM Event Stream. If you have any question, so feel free to post something on the chat. Sorry.
No question.
So no question. So what I propose you to do, we have a short. This is. Let me retrieve the information. This is a 45-minute lapse. Let me share. Share my screen one more time. Okay. That's what you can find in the PowerPoint Labs Cloud Pak for Integration Event Stream Lab. You will get access to this URL, but in fact, behind this is the same environment. In this, you will find the tutorial. In this tutorial, this is 45 minutes, this is easy to do. The first thing you will do, this is you will create or you will install your first event stream on IBM or on Cloud Pak for integration. And you will see that you can do this quickly. And the other thing that you will create your first application to simulate what can be a consumer or producer. That's quite easy to understand, and usually you should have got this email. And that's it. So the tutorial is quite simple as before. And as you can see, there is no troubleshooting here. That's why that's very simple that you can do this without any issue. What you will get after this, I'm showing you the final result. Just need to retrieve. That's one. So when you instantiate your local application to simulate the interaction with Cloud Pak for IBM Event Stream, you will install locally a small application. Like this. Just need to retrieve the right one. That's the one. I did the installation from my side to this folder, which is IBM Event Stream eLab Tester. That's why I'm going here. And then I start my application, nvm install. Everything is documented, don't worry. So I start my application. We will see in a few seconds what is the result. So in parallel, I'm going back to my own environment and to my event stream. Refresh the page. What I did before installing my application, I've just used in Cloud Pak for integration the capability to create easily topics. And for this, I'm just assign the number of replica and the number of partition. I don't use any geo replication because on my installation, I don't enable these capabilities. And if I'm doing this right now, you will see this is quite simple. Just use a right name, in this case, test. So next, number of partition, the minimum, this is 3, I remind you, for break processes. Message, how many times you want to keep the message. For demonstration purpose, that will be 10 minutes. That's enough. And the number of replica, usually this is 3 replica and 2 in synchronize in this case. So I can finalize the creation, but I did it. And what I did is with Elast topics. The second thing I need to do, this is just to go to the toolbox. And here you can initiate an application. Just click on this. You just click configure and generate application. That will be, you will be able to download a small application with the right credential related to, in this case, the topics I have created and to the application, to my event stream application. That's what I did. And now I should have access to my application if I click here. And as you can see, this is a simulation of the producer and the simulation of the consumer. So I will stop this right now. And you can see this is ESLA topic. That's the one we will retrieve here. And if I want to go more inside about the usage, you will see this is currently flat. So last hour. Okay, there is no record associated to this. So let's start with my simulation. So the message or the information I want to send could be hello CE, for instance. Oh. And then I can put this information. As this is a loose coupling, you don't care about what is who is the recipient or the consumer. The producer is just take care to produce this information. And after this, and I review this, we have 6 different messages sent and sequentially assigned to the partition 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, and 2. If I continue, I will give the 2, and so on. At any time, I can stop the producer. The consumer can request to get access to this, and you will see that straightforward. You will retrieve this information from the same partition, by the way. Message 9, this is partition 0. I'm looking for the message, this is LOCE. And if now I can resend this, that will be managed synchronously. And you can get access to this information in real time. And dynamically, I can decide to, if I stop this, you can continue to listen. Hello world. And then the latest message should be hello world. Like this. And this is what you will do during this hands-on. And that's an easy way to start working and testing your application. So I'll stop everything. Going back to this, refresh the page. Yeah, you can see I have several activities due to my previous step. And if I'm going to consumer group, yesterday there is no, this morning you saw no consumer group, and now you see this is ES Lab Tester. That's the name of my application, by the way. Can you see the name here? No. But that's the name of my application. And this one has 3 different consumer in the consumer group. So let's tell you why I want you to talk about MQ, because MQ, this is a well-known IBM product. This is 25 years old product used by most of our most of our clients across the world. If I want to give you some metrics, that's what is interesting to know. That's 95% of the Fortune 100 are using MQ. 96 out of 20 global banks, 7 on top of the top 10 manufacturers, 46 of the global 100, 7 of the top 10 global retailers, 6 of the world top 10 airlines, and so on. This is just an illustration. MQ is the leader when we talk about transactional messaging management, but this is the leader in terms of market share. You be sure that you plan to talk about integration in a big corporation, that you will find an MQ somewhere managing the exchanges between different applications, such as backend system or the end databases. What the value of MQ? This is for critical communication. This is what we call this transactional exchange, because when you send an information by using MQ, you be sure this information will be the right one, the one provided by the source, and this is the same one consumed by the destination. And at the end, you have an acknowledgement to finalize the transaction. That's why most of our banking corporations are using MQ. And this is a 25 years old product. That means it is, I would say, a well-designed and product, and it's still evolving, by the way. But that's it's very well designed. And you can manage the scalability, availability, and security without easily with this kind of product. Let's start talking about the difference between message queuing, MQ, and event streaming, IBM Event Streams. With MQ, we keep the data. This is what we call transient data persistence. Only when you need to when you manage this information. What does it mean? That means that you store this information provided by any sources, and you store this only until the end of the transaction. Once the recipient sends back the acknowledgement of the transaction, then MQ will delete this information. Conversational messaging, this is targeted reliable delivery. This is when you send something, you know the recipient, you know the destination. This is a strong coupling between source and destination, because in this case, you want to be sure that the information sent, this is the right one, but as well, this is to the right recipient. It's designed for this. And as I told you, this is very reliable because you can have some mechanism to retry this. See if for any reason there is a network failure or the destination is down. The system can keep this one, keep this information, retry this several times, until the validation and the commit of the transaction. But for the event stream, this is totally different. We keep the data. We can keep the data forever and all kind of data. There is several capabilities of scalability. And by the way, in this case, this is an illustration that we don't know who will be the recipient. The source is not aware about who will be the recipient for event stream, but you can scale, can increase the number of consumers regarding the number of partitions you define in the event stream. This is the way to manage the scalability in this case. But there is no, this is a loose coupling, and that's a huge difference with an MQ. And we cannot update the data. That's immutable store, but you can reorganize the different topics and only keep what is interesting for you, or maybe compact the information if needed in the IBM Event Stream. So that's between IBM MQ and IBM Event Stream. And I remind you, IBM Event Stream, this is Kafka behind this. Just to reinforce the message, event communication, that's with message queue, you can implement a public subscribe engine as well, but that's not really the focus. It's really the focus. This is to manage queue, and event stream will manage public subscribe. In message queue, there is no log, immutable log, and event stream, yes. Event sources and replay, this is a retry. And you can do we can capture the event from any sources, but as well there are some you cannot do any replay because we don't store this information in message queue. What does it mean by replay? This is the capability for at any time to retrieve this information from the previous activities or capture information. That's not possible in MQ, and as we store the information forever in event stream, we can capture this at the beginning of the story for event stream. And the same thing, but in different view. That's a graphical representation. Let's imagine that your database, this is a source of trust. In this case, we can manage the queue to capture this information and maybe replicate this information to different applications. But you know where will be posted this information. With MQ, that's a little bit different. There is as well, you can have one sources, but you don't know who will consume this information. Who will be the application? You can leverage. You can have several consumers for one message, for instance, compared to the previous one. This is one message send, one message consume. How we manage queues and topics. That's more or less the same thing. This is a list of records. And that's for the queue, there are offset as well. This is record the different incoming message on one queue. And that's something you can do with the topics. The same, more or less the same thing. But in fact, you can see that for each offset, for each record, there is one consumer, and only one. And as before, in this case, for any offset, you can have several consumers. How will consume this information on different domains? So, in the queue, once the message is consumed by the consumer, it will be removed from the queue. That's the way to do this. That's why if you send message and you have a commit from the consumer, then this information is lost for the queue manager, like this. But there is some option, so which enable you to have multiple consumer as well. and to only define when you want to do the commit. But as before, the message is deleted. And for non-destructive consumption, that's not, I would say, usual, but we have this option as well. That's why I'm saying MQ is still evolving, and it tries to do the same behavior you can retrieve in IBM Event Streams. And you can decide to non-destruct or not remove the record like this for any reason. But keep in mind that a queue is not a log. That's the difference between them. What else in terms of difference? There are the commit, but as we repeat more or less the same thing. So which means that you can push some data and maybe commit this information at a period of time. This message will be visible to the consumer, one commit, and then will be consumable by the consumer in this case. So the same thing for produce the third. And then once the 0 is commit, then we're able to consume this information. This is a behavior you can find in MQ as well. More or less, that's the same thing with Kafka. But in this case, as well, we can decide to remove this information if you want. One thing I want to highlight right now, that's the connector. That's the capability to leverage MQ directly or straightforward from IBM Event Streams. And you can do this. You can leverage for this some connectors. Let's imagine that you have a database and you use change data capture to get information you want to replicate with IBM Event Streams. But most of the time, the database is always connected to an MQ, an IBM MQ, because this is a legacy system. And you be sure that for this legacy system, most of the time that's MQ to manage interaction, also to capture or to do some update on the databases. That's why without any update on your backend system, without any impact on your backend system, you will be able to leverage the MQ capabilities and the MQ connectors. You just need to Kafka to leverage the specific connector, which will point to topics to get this information from MQ, and maybe send this information to any application. Up to this application to one to many of them send an update to the databases. And for this, you must create another topics in IBM Event Stream, leveraging an MQ, what we call MQ Think connector, to push this data to MQ, and then do the update to the database. This is a commit, in fact. We send the update, and you will get the commit by using the MQ Think here. If you want to get more insight on this, that's a documentation for this. Source connector and Think connectors, or this is on the knowledge. You can find it as well on the Knowledge Center of MQ and IBM Event Stream. But this is on GitHub if you want to get the source code to do this. But what we're doing, in fact, what we have created in MQ, this is a queue. The name could be from Kafka. That's up to you to define what is the name. And what we're doing in Kafka, we just create a topic called to .mq. That's what you must do during the lab. And we leverage the MQ thing connector. What this connector is doing is retrieve the information related to the key and value defined in the topics. You will convert this, you will change the schema if needed, and it will be the message to send this information, to send this message to the queue, into the queue of MQ. And you don't need to do anything, by the way. This is provided for you. You just need to create a different topics and queue to send this information and capture this information. Well, now let's do the reverse. In this case, MQ was the source and Q the destination. Here, the Q is a source, MQ is a source, and the Kafka IBM Event Stream is a destination. But we're doing the same thing. We capture the message queue, the message. We transform this message, identify the right schema, and create some record as a pair of data, which is key and value, to send this to the topic. And it's done for you. At the end, you get something like this. MQ to Kafka and Kafka to MQ. And at the right, you can have several applications. We could leverage this information, such as a mobile application, such as brand new technology website, and so on. That's up to you. That's a way to leverage existing backend system without impact on this backend, just by leveraging MQ capabilities. That's an example with the mainframe. What we're doing, this is a use case for the labs. This is an illustration. So let's imagine that you have a backend system with the airplane information about the flight, about the loyalty program, about your reservation and the situation, the status of the customer. And that's something you want to leverage and to expose with Event Stream by leveraging any new technology. Maybe in a mobile application, you provide it to the end user. That helps them to know what is the status about the loyalty program, what is the status about their flight and their reservation, and if there is any issue, get a message from the airline company about your flight has been delayed, or maybe we propose you to postpone your flight, or to find another way to go where you want to go. That's, I would say, a usual example of integration. IBM MQ to leverage backend solution, legacy system, IBM Event Stream to interconnect all new technologies such as mobile devices, such as device information, or maybe third-party applications provided useful information for your trip. This is, I would say, a summary about an example about the value to do this integration, and that's a topic for the next lab. If I'm going to a description of the last lab, just the time for me to find the right presentation. Lab, this one. This is the lab you can get. This is 1 hour lab. You use for this the same environment, so you don't need to request a new one. You just need to follow the tutorial you will find in this URL to do this step by step. So as before, you will get let's troubleshooting. yeah, you should get the an email with the right URL and credential, and then that's what you should do, and that's the use case for this lab I gave you. And there is only one troubleshooting. This is after the part 7. There is a missing there is a missing .io in the domain in the definition of the host file, but you just need to add this .io at the end to have your system up and running. That's the same thing for the part 8, by the way. To create, I would say, the other from Kafka to MQ. That's what I wanted to share with you related to MQ quickly to give you some difference between them. So do you have any question?
How many times do they need to this last lab?
Oh, this is 1 hour lab. So what I can propose you, this is to start the lab. I will stay with you for maybe 30 minutes before the end. After this, if you don't have any questions, that's up to you to finalize the lab later on. So you have access to the environment anyway. Hi everybody, that's 10 minutes left before ending, so that's maybe the right time to do the wrap up, and if you have any questions, I'm still there. What you did today, so I gave you an overview about Cloud Pak for integration and the different components of the Cloud Pak for integration, such as App Connect, API Connect, IBM MQ, IBM Event Streams, Aspera, Data Power. And you did a first labs which enabled you to do an integration between 2 different components of Cloud Pak for integration. You leverage as well the dashboard of Cloud Pak for integration. After the lunch this afternoon, I gave you an overview of one of the components, which is IBM Event Streams. That's the IBM implementation of Kafka. I introduced the main concept managed by IBM Event Streams, such as topics, partition, brokers, consumer groups, and several other things. And I provided you 2 different labs. The first one was the creation of your first instance of IBM Event Streams in IBM Cloud Pak for integration, and create your first application, consumer and producer application, to do some tests of your pre-created topics. After this short description of the difference between MQ and IBM Event Stream, because I think that's a requirement when we talk about event management or message management. You must be aware about the usage of MQ, because most of our customers are using MQ. That's the wrap up for today. I hope you enjoyed this day. So last minute to pose a question. If you don't have any question, thank you for your attention, and maybe see you later.
Thank you, Philippe and Laurent, for today's presentation. Also, thank you for all the participants. I will leave the session open for a few minutes, and please don't forget to share your feedback after closing the window. It will be pop-up questionnaire. Thank you.